Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is Christian here. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm going to be doing a video that has been requested by a few of you. I'm going to be doing a Q&A so that way you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I posted a picture on Instagram and Twitter and I asked you guys to leave some of your questions down below. And today I'm going to be answering those for you guys. So if you would like to get to know me maybe a little bit better, then you're going to want to go ahead and keep on watching. But first, before we get into that video, if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you don't mind, before you head out, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and become part of my little YouTube family. And if you are not new to my channel, welcome back, guys. Thank you for continuing to join me. You know how much it means to me. And yeah, guys, let's just go ahead and get into the Q&A. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the names of the people who asked the questions because I don't want to potentially mess up someone's name. So I'm just gonna leave it somewhere on the screen. So the first question, one of the first questions is, and I feel like it might be the question that most people might be interested in, what got you started in makeup and vlogging? So, and I'm not going to go into too much detail in this question. Maybe down the line I'll go, you know, a little bit more in depth. But a couple of years ago, I went through a really tough time, and I was just kind of sad. I've always worn makeup. I've always enjoyed makeup, but I was never as passionate about it until I was a couple of years ago. And basically I just started watching YouTube videos, beauty videos, and I had never watched beauty videos in my life, like never, unless they were like coming through up like on a Facebook feed, but I never like sought them out. And I remember one of the first videos I watched was Jaclyn Hill video, and I believe it was a brow video. And then I just started watching these videos and it started to make me just feel better. It was the only time that I wasn't like sad, or it was basically like an escape watching these YouTube videos. And then I found Casey Holmes, Nicole Guerrero, then I started watching Tati, and I just kind of became obsessed with videos. I started practicing a little more, and I started getting, you know, better makeup brushes, better makeup, and I would spend hours, literally I would get off work and I would spend hours sitting in front of my mirror practicing makeup looks, and you know, just getting better and better and better. I would take pictures and I would see what I did wrong, then I would go back and I would try to fix it. And then I felt it was just an escape for me, and then it became something that I just really love doing. Actually, about 2 years ago, I was telling one of my friends it could totally be on YouTube. And then I just started taking it really seriously. I actually filmed my first YouTube video an entire year before I ever actually posted my first video. I just wanted everything to be perfect. I quickly realized that trying to perfect everything was just a little bit more complicated than I thought it would be. So I just decided to upload a video. So I guess that's kind of how I got started. It was just it was just an escape for me, something to just pass the time and just kind of allow me to just not worry about what was going on in my life. And it just became, I guess, my YouTube channel. So another question is, if I could do any celebrity's makeup, who would it be? A celebrity that I would love to meet is Jennifer Lawrence. It's because I feel like she's just so laid back and so very chill that in my mind I feel like we could actually be like BFFs. So I think I would like to do her makeup because I think it would be fun, and I feel like she would just be so like relaxed and just so like whatever. So another question is, what is my favorite makeup palette? And I'm gonna go ahead and kind of narrow that down a little bit and say my favorite eyeshadow palette, because there's contour kits, there's, you know, blush palettes, there's so many different types of palettes, and I like different palettes in every single category. But if I had to say my favorite palette, like ever, eyeshadow palette, used to be the Urban Decay Naked Original. Like I beat that palette to death. You know what? Let me actually grab it. I beat this palette to death. You guys can see that I like hit pan on so many of the different shades. So this was my favorite palette early on when I really started getting into makeup. I've had this palette for several years, and for the longest time, this was the only palette that I used ever. But as I got a little bit more in makeup, I learned a little bit more about transition colors and crease colors and how to properly blend. It became the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, the original one. This palette, as you can see, I have loved it just as hard as the original Naked palette. But I feel like this palette has so many different, it is just like, to me, it is just like the perfect neutral palette. It is beginner friendly. The eyeshadows are easily blendable. So even if you have never picked up a makeup brush in your life, I feel like a palette like this is almost like a no-brainer. Everything just goes so easily together. And I think as for an all-in-one palette, this is probably like my favorite eyeshadow palette ever in life and history. Okay, so another question is, do I have any siblings? Yes, I do. I grew up with 2 older sisters. I actually grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas, and now I am living in Houston, Texas. One of my sisters is here with me in Houston and the other one is still back home in Corpus. So yes, I am the baby of my older sisters. The question is, what am I going to school for? I am actually going to school for psychology, and I actually decided that about a year ago. I originally, my whole life, I was convinced that I was going to be like a journalist or a writer or a novelist or something to do with writing. And, you know, because I've always been very creative on paper. So that was just what I was convinced I was going to do my whole life. At a really tough time, something just kind of switched for me, and I just became really fascinated in how the mind works, how people think, how people operate. And then I decided that psychology would be something that I was very, very interested in, and I have become super passionate about. Something where I can help like the youth, you know, people who are struggling, having difficult times in life. I don't know if I want to be a therapist. I'm not really sure what path 100% I'm going to take, but I am going to school for psychology. One question is, do I have any kids? No, I do not have any children. I feel like if I had children, there's no way I would be able to post all of the makeup hauls that I do post. So no, I do not have children. Another question is, am I married? No, I am not married. I would love to get married one day. Marriage and children are in the cards for me somewhere down the line, but as of right now, no, not married and no kids. Another question is, what would I do if there was no makeup in the world? Well, I have no idea. Like, that is a good question. Like, makeup consumes so much of my time. Like, if I'm not studying, if I'm not at work, I am playing with makeup, I am practicing with makeup, I am filming a YouTube video, I am buying makeup. Like, makeup consumes so much of my life. So if there was no makeup in the world, what would I do? I would probably be very bored. Maybe. I don't know. Before I got really heavily into makeup, I was really passionate about writing. So I think that I would just spend more time I feel like I would just maybe spend a little bit more time writing like I used to do when I was younger, before I got super heavy into makeup. Makeup is fun, makeup is expressive, makeup is creative, and I've always been a very creative person. So it is just another outlet for me to express my creativity. But if there was no more makeup in the world, I would probably just try to transition that creativity back to maybe trying to write again, or just something creative. What kind of job do I have? I actually work in sales. I actually have a commission-based sales job. I don't want to go into like too much detail as far as exactly where I work, but I do have a sales oriented job. My job is it's not too complicated, it's not too difficult, but it can be very, very stressful because I do have quotas, I do have numbers that I have to hit, and I do make most of my money off of commission. So if I have a bad month, then I have a bad month, you feel me? So I do have a commission-based sales job. I've been working at my current job for about the last 3.5 years, and I probably will stay there unless something crazy happens, I'll probably stay there until I finish school. So about another 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, depending on how things go with school. So yes, that is what I do for a living. What are my favorite beauty products ever? So a couple of my holy grail products are, and I did do the ride or die makeup tag, so I can link that below, so you guys can definitely check that out and know what like my ride or die makeup products are. But I'm obsessed with the Gimme Brow, the MAC Studio Finish Concealer. I live for that stuff. The Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, like I mentioned earlier, is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. I love the Benefit Stay Don't Stray for an eyeshadow primer. Like I said, I'll leave that video down below, so if you guys want to check that out and get a little bit more detail on some of my favorite products ever. That's just a few of them. Another question that a lot of people asked is, do I have a boo or am I in a relationship? And no, I am not. I've been single for a little bit. I just decided that after, again, going back to my first question, the first question that I answered, everything I kind of went through, I just decided to like take a step back and just really focus on me and kind of build myself back up, you know, focusing on school, really starting my YouTube channel, really just kind of doing things for myself, getting my first apartment, all of that stuff. I just kind of decided to prioritize myself a little bit more. It's not that I don't want to be in a relationship, because there is definitely somebody in my life that I care a great deal about, and you know, we enjoy each other's company and we hang out a lot and we spend time together. Am I technically in a relationship? No. Another question is, what is my favorite TV shows? So some of my favorite TV shows of all time would be Dexter, would be Breaking Bad, Friends. So those are a couple of my favorite TV shows that no longer come on. I'm gonna be honest, as a kid, I was completely obsessed with the WB. So I was obsessed with Buffy, like obsessed with Buffy when I was younger. Honestly, every once in a while you can still catch me on Netflix, like watching one or two of those TV shows from time to time. So yes, I was obsessed with Buffy. And Gilmore Girls is another show that I'll watch kind of over and over again. I don't really have as much time to watch TV as I used to, but those are some of my favorite TV shows of like yesteryears. A couple of my favorite TV shows that are still on and are still running today. I have been obsessed, and it's a newer show, but I have been obsessed with Quantico. Like, I love that show so much. Another show that I really fell in love with last year was Blind Spot, so I really like that show as well. I love Pretty Little Liars. I'm kind of ready for it to be over, but I do love it. So Pretty Little Liars is another one of my favorite TV shows. How to Get Away with Murder is really, really good. And I think that's it. I think those are the only TV shows that I actually actively watch. My favorite movies, I like Fight Club. Obviously, I love The Notebook, Mean Girls. I really liked Reservoir Dogs. I love Inglourious Bastards. I really like anything by Quentin Tarantino. I really, really love watching his movies. I think that they're really good, really entertaining, and very, they're usually violent, more on the violent side of the spectrum, but I just think that they are so good. If you could only use 3 makeup products to get ready, what would you use? I would have to have the Gimme Brow. I never realized how important brows were until I realized how important brows were. Oh my gosh, this is tough. Probably say a really good concealer. The MAC Studio Finish Concealer, and probably the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion, because at least that way I can have some decent looking brows. I can kind of conceal some breakouts and dark circles, and then I can also bring some color back into my skin with a bronzer. So I think those would be the 3 things I would pick. Alright guys, and for the majority of the questions that were asked, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope that now you feel like we're a little bit closer and a little bit more like friends. I would really hope that I was able to answer your questions fully. And this video was really nice to film because I know several of you have been asking me to do a Q&A for quite some time. I know that you guys wanted to get to know me a little bit better. So I will do a more in-depth, like, just get to know me video somewhere down the line, to where I just kind of let you guys know things about me that are just kind of whatever comes to my mind. So I'll do that at some point in the future, but I just really wanted to answer some of the questions that you guys were the most curious about, and I really hope that I was able to do that for you guys. That's pretty much it, guys. So before you head out, I'm going to go ahead and ask that you do 3 things for me. The first one, giving this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. The second one being going ahead and leaving a comment down below letting me know what you'd like to see next. And the third thing is, if you are not subscribed to my channel, you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Subscribing to my channel just ensures that you do not miss any future upcoming videos. I do post videos 3 times a week, every Wednesday, every Friday, and every Sunday. And until I see you next time, y'all be safe out there. Bye!